you think the government should raise the minimum wage to $10 an hour?
Absolutely.
Would you be in favor of them raising it to $20 an hour?
Nah, that's probably a little bit much, but...
Why is $20 too much? What would happen if we raised it to $20? Why? What's the
Well, you
problem?
don't want to drive companies out of business. You know, the government shouldn't be in the business of subsidizing companies, but at the same time, you still want a strong economy so that folks can be able to do business properly.
So if they raise it to $20 an hour, then the businesses would have to fire the employees because if they...
Some would, some wouldn't. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's a mix. If you have small businesses, small mom and pop shops that, you know, have 2 or 3 employees, and you know they're in business in order to generate income to feed their families, if they're forced to pay $20 an hour, that may be a little bit much in order to compensate their employees. So the result would end up being they would probably have to let their employees go.
What if they paid them $20 an hour or even 10? What if the customers are only willing to reimburse the employer $8.50?
Well, the customers don't reimburse the employee; they buy a product.
Right, but
because they're buying a product,
they
they're
reimburse
paying for the actual product that they're interested in purchasing.
Right, but if the employee is rendering a service that the customer values at $8.50, and you require the employer to pay $10, will he incur a loss?
Right. I don't know. I think the question is, what's the cost of doing business?
Well, but will he incur a loss or not?
I don't know. I mean, each business is different.
Right.
Yeah, I think your question might be a little bit
so there's thousands
too
of
vague.
There's thousands of businesses in the United States, right?
Correct.
And you don't know the situation of each one, right?
Correct.
So if you raise to $10, you may be requiring many employees to be fired, because if what they produce is worth to the market $8.50 and the employer has to pay $10, then that he will incur a loss. That's a mathematical thing, right? Arithmetic.
Some could, some couldn't. I think you're overgeneralizing it on the $10 factor versus the $8.50 factor. Let's say it's $5. Let's say it's no dollars at all. Let's say employers don't incur any costs whatsoever to hire an employee. Should we not pay the employee anything? Because that would then revert back to slavery.
Should we respect the judgment of the employee and the employer as to what the terms of the contract should be and how much they should be paid?
So you say that so you're suggesting that there should be no protection for employees whatsoever?
I'm just asking your view on that.
I know, and I'm asking your question in reverse.
You want to ask me some questions? Okay.
No. You're asking me a question that's overgeneral, and I'm making it more specific.
I'm just wondering if you're willing to respect the judgment of each adult citizen regarding how much he's willing to sell his labor for, and on the part of the employee, and how much he's willing to purchase labor.
Let me answer it this way. If we lived in a utopian society where everybody would do the right thing because the right thing is the right thing to do, then your suggestion, or your suggestion by inference in your question, would make a lot more sense. We don't live in that type of society, and individuals do have to make a fair wage in order to be able to take care of their families and pay their bills and provide for themselves. So let me finish my answer.
Oh, okay.
So because we don't live in a utopian society and we can't trust the judgment of everyone, meaning we can't trust that someone won't rape us, we can't trust that someone won't rob us, we can't trust that someone won't murder us, we can't trust that everybody's going to pay a fair and decent wage in order to compensate an individual for their value and their worth. So because we don't live in that utopian society, my answer to your question is directly no. We can't rely simply on the judgment of the employer, of every employer, to make that decision.
So you equate an employer offering a salary lower than what you think is fair as raping or murdering someone?
I didn't say that. I'm a lawyer, so I'd play these games too sometimes when I'm interrogating individuals.
What's your name? 'Cause I appreciate your openness.
But your question is too general.
Okay, what's your name,
and it's not
sir?
an equation. My name is Oyango Snell. It's not.
Oyango what?
Oyango. Oyango. Last name Snell.
Snell. Okay.
So I'm not equating that
Great
fact.
football player, Snell.
I used to play football. Matt Snell from Cleveland, played for Cleveland, Ohio. I played at Central State in Ohio, but no relation that I know of.
Okay.
The reality of what I'm saying is trusting judgment, not equating one to the other. But we're talking about the judgment of the individual, not the equation of the situation of
Would
itself.
you be willing to work for less than minimum wage, any jobs?
Absolutely not. I know my value.
Let me
I
ask
know
you.
my worth.
Let me ask you this question: would you be willing to do the job of President of the United States for less than minimum wage?
He does do it for less than minimum wage if you count his hours up.
You think so? Really?
He probably does. Based on what the public pays him and the hours that he actually works.
I thought he made $300,000 or $400,000, but anyway.
I think it's 400 last time I checked. I haven't kept up with the economies of scales on the President of the United States.
40 hours a day.
He probably does. President, I'm being sarcastic, but the president doesn't get much sleep.
So, are there some companies right now that are breaking even?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't audited these companies. I'd have to actually see. Every company's different. Every company has a different business model. Every company operates differently. So it comes down.
Your knowledge of economics, there's hundreds of thousands of companies right now. Are there some companies that pay minimum wage that are breaking even right now?
Possibly.
And if you increase the wage that they have to pay their minimum wage earners, would they start to incur a loss?
Well, it depends. Depends. Let me add the mathematical equation to your question that you're not adding.
Go ahead.
Prices go up. Consumers pay more for the actual
they could just raise their prices.
Yes, absolutely they could.
So you think right now they could raise their prices and make more money?
You're saying they. They is a fictitious they.
All the companies.
Every company's not going to do that. That's not every company's business model.
But all the companies that are out there that are breaking even right now, they're breaking even because they're stupid. They don't just raise their price.
I wouldn't say that.
If they could raise their price right now, wouldn't they do it?
I wouldn't say that.
If they could raise their prices without losing business, would they do it?
No, they wouldn't do it if they're going to lose business, but they would do it.
Their view is that they don't do it because they're going to lose business, right?